All I can say is, wow, wow, that's what panic looks like, my friends. How are you? Missed you guys on Friday. It certainly was a long weekend, lots and lots going on, but really happy to be back. That was quite the little compilation there of panic in among the Democrats. They're really, really afraid of a second Trump term. We know, we're moving in the right direction. We're getting things done correctly, and people are starting to wake up to it. You guys got it in the chat room. You really understood what that would mean. You actually saw the fear, right? You saw it in those clips, and you got it because I saw you writing it in the chat room. It's like, you understand. What do you need me for? I don't need to be here, but I'm here. And you might say, where's Lewis? Lewis will maybe be joining us today. He is still in Arizona for today. And then he's going to try to pop in. He's got a lot going on. His schedule is completely filled. He's going to try his best to be on. And we have a clip that he just sent me literally 30 minutes before we went live. And I was not able to get it downloaded, edited, and prepared for the show. But I will have it ready for tomorrow's show. Really powerful. I really want to share this with you. It's real exciting to see Lewis and all his power, and all his standing on 2 feet and taking no punches from people. It's really, really, really good to see when patriots step up. Couple conversations this weekend. It was kind of interesting. Conversation number one was with someone who told me that they're feeling completely and totally overwhelmed. Right? Well, it's understandable. There's a lot going on. It's coming at us in every different direction. And if you look at social media, if you pay any attention to what's going on there, you'll see it. You'll see just so much, and it's popping in so many different directions, including today. Some of the things that are popping up today, it's really interesting. We're going to go over some of the stories. But it's easy to feel overwhelmed, right? Because the things are coming at us so much faster now. And I think we were looking forward to this as a group. We're probably looking forward to it and saying, well, it'd be really nice if this would happen or if that would happen. Guys, it's happening. It really is happening. We are winning this war, one battle at a time. But there's a lot of battles. There's a lot of fronts, as we all know. And it can be very confusing and certainly overwhelming. And certainly for me, it's literally become a full-time job, right? I don't get a break on the weekends. I got to keep looking at this stuff to stay on top of the stories and what's happening and what's popping. Otherwise, if I wait 3 days and come back into it, I'll be totally lost. So it's important for a person like me to do it, but not so much for you. Here's what I'm going to share with you today. I think this is going to be helpful. The truth of the matter for all of us is that we are not going to be able to keep on top of every story. So get that out of your head. You're not going to keep on top of every story. It's too many fronts in the war. And that's okay. I don't want you to beat yourself up. I can't keep on top of it. Lewis can't keep on top of it. Anybody in the media who's on our side of the media is not going to keep on top of every story. Not possible. Too much. Way too much right now. So I look at it as too many directions, too many issues, and you're tempted, and a lot of people are tempted to simply give up. And that's my conversation this weekend was with this lady who said, I can't anymore. I don't even turn it on because it's overwhelming. I get it. But that's not what the reaction that we want. We want you to continue to be involved because you have to know what's going on in order to, what? Have an impact, right? So one of the things that I do, I think what works best is when you have a lot of things going on, just pick your battle. I did a whole podcast on this last year and people were talking about this. It's like, pick your battle. Can't fight on every front, pick one. And if all of us start to pick one instead of feeling overwhelmed and sticking our head back in the sand, we win. So the question then becomes, okay, so what are your battles? So for me, my battles are very simple. You guys might have guessed, right? I'm really big on the election stuff. I want to know, how about taxes, excess taxes? They're reporting now that we're going to see the highest tax increases we've had in decades coming in 2024. As if they're not high enough and inflation's not already out of control, we're going to add more taxes on top of it. More to come on that. How about the excessive regulations? Remember what Trump did? One of the things he did when he was in power is he removed a lot of regulations. You might say, oh, that was so bad. He took this regulation, he took that regulation. What he did is he unshackled the economy. He unshackled businesses so that they then could what? They could expand, they could grow, they could innovate. Too many regulations, businesses can't innovate. How do we know? Just look at a communist country. Where are the innovations in communist countries? Where? Do you see them anywhere? You don't. Why? Because there's too many rules. And when you clamp down on businesses, they can't innovate. So too many regulations. So maybe that's your thing. How about the LBGTQISPT, whatever other acronyms they're putting in there? Why don't they just call it the alphabet? Right? It's the alphabet, right? It's every letter and every symbol. It's all of it. The whole ASCII set. Why don't they just call it that? Well, maybe that's your battle. Maybe you want to keep that out of the schools, keep the indoctrination away from the children. That's a good battle to be in. Maybe that's your thing. And the list just goes on, right? There's more than that. I mean, I just gave you a quick little overview here of some of the things that you could be looking at. But there's quite a few. And that's the challenge is like, okay, which one do I want to fight? Well, pick the one that resonates with you, the one that you can put your weight behind, literally. You could do the research and you could dig and go deep, and then you could find the groups and you could participate there. That's how we're going to win. Because all of us are going to resonate with different items here. We're not all going to resonate with the same ones. Although we may all be upset about the border. Great. Well, that's wonderful. But if we all focus there, we may solve that. But how about the other ones? So we got to kind of split up. And here's the key to this whole thing, understanding this, is that we're not a small group. We are the massive majority in this country. We are the majority. So if that's the case, and we split our resources up accordingly, and we go after every one of these fronts, put some people here, some people there, some people there, what are the odds we're going to win? I think they're pretty high. So I just want to bring that to you. It's like, I know this feeling of overwhelm is really real. And I was talking to Bruce Poppy about it last week, and he was like looking for the right amount of whelm. He didn't want overwhelm or underwhelm. He was just looking for the right amount of whelm. And I think that's how you do it, is you got to chunk this thing up in a way that makes sense for you. Think about it. It's certainly worked for me. It keeps me out of the wood here a little bit, because I can get lost with all of this stuff as well. All right. If you haven't been over to Screw Big Gov, please go visit screwbiggov.com. There you'll find all the Remember Your Oath information. You'll find Cages, a documentary. You'll find the other films that Lewis has done. And also there's swag, the swag button down the middle there on the bottom row. You really want to look great and wear your Screw Big Gov outfits. I would love to see photos of you guys. You guys have Screw Big Gov. If you've got the jacket, if you've got the sweatshirts, send in pictures. Send them to us. Post them in Renegade Media in the chat. Maybe we'll feature them on the show. That would be kind of cool to see you wearing your colors. I know people say, Rob, you should wear it. I do wear it on the weekends, but when I'm doing a show, I tend to dress this way instead. Maybe I need to change that. Maybe I need to put the sweatshirt on. And the other button there is the social media button. And that will take you directly to Lewis's Telegram channel, where he's posting stuff all the time. He's also engaged in the chat when he has time to do that. And you'll be able to find him there, because it's not always easy to find Lewis on Telegram. It's one of those things. He's kind of shadow banned there, as so many of us are. Hard to find the channels when there's a lot of knockoffs too. And I think that's one of the things that goes on. There's a lot of knockoff channels. So you want to make sure that you're following the right one. It's easy to get waylaid. Friday, there was a story that came out, and I posted it in the Renegade Media Telegram channel, and a number of people really pissed off about this. The Civil War Memorial in Arlington National Cemetery was about to be demolished. What? Well, we know what are the things. When we would take over a country, what you have to do is erase what? The country's history. Why do you think they took all the statues down? Right? They took all the statues down so you wouldn't have all these memorials and all these clues to what happened in our past. You want to rewrite history, you've got to erase it first to be able to rewrite it. Can't just write over what's there. You've got to wipe the page clean, then you can create a new history. Every country that's gone communist has done this. Every one of them. So we're seeing it here. And now they wanted to get rid of this Civil War Memorial. Well, there's breaking news today, which I think is good news. A Trump-appointed judge halts removal of the Confederate Memorial in Arlington National Cemetery. So this is Trump-appointed Judge Rossi Alston. He issued a restraining order halting the removal of a Confederate memorial at Arlington National Cemetery. The memorial removal began on Monday. This morning it began, but was halted after Alston's order was issued. Work to remove the memorial began this morning, but the memorial remains in place on cemetery grounds. The cemetery had said on Friday that it expected to complete the removal this week. It said the removal was required by Congress. 45 Republicans voted for this, by the way. When you think, hey, we're Republicans, and no, I'm going to get there. I'm jumping ahead of myself here. 45 Republicans voted to remove this, by the way. Removal was required by Congress and that it was complying with environmental and historic preservation regulations. Alston explained that the lawsuit brought forward by Defend Arlington claimed the removal of the memorial involves the disturbance of grave sites. Of course, there's quite a few of them around there. In a footnote, Alston noticed that he takes very seriously the representations of officers of the court, and should the representations in this case be untrue or exaggerated, the court may take appropriate sanctions. So there's a back threat here. In other words, you brought this case, you want to take this statue down, this memorial down, and if it turns out that what you told me was untrue, he's going to go after them, after the lawyers in this case. I think the judges really need to take a stand. I think that would be really nice to see more of this kind of thing happen. That'd be really a lot of fun to see it in some of these cases that are coming up. And, yeah, you know, the charges are absolutely BS, but nobody's held accountable. So it continues and continues and continues. But if the judges were to stand and say, okay, no more, you know, when we get to that point, you know, if we find out that you brought this case or, you know, whatever, then there should be sanctions and these lawyers should be removed from the bar. Maybe that would stop some of this. It's a little bit like your kids, right? If you don't set the boundaries, where do they go? They push a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more until you blow up, right? And that's what's going to happen. It's going to go and go and go, and then we're going to have this explosion at some point. So we're waiting for that. What's the pushback going to be? This looked good. I was excited to see this morning. I was excited to see this was halted. I know it's a temporary restraining order, but it gives us a breather to be able to go in there and assert you don't mess with history, right? Guys, we got to wake up on this one. A lot of this stuff. How many more statues do you want to see erased? How many more history books do you want to see rewritten? Are we done? No, they're going to keep pushing. They're going to keep pushing. There's a couple of more stories I'm going to share with you today of more of the pushing going on. Not a whole lot of fun. But, you know, like I said, we've got to take a stand on whatever we can, and we're going to push back. So the next story here is Justice Clarence Thomas. I don't know if you heard this today. This was interesting. So the wonderful House Democrats, and I use that facetiously, launch an offensive to force Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas to recuse himself from the Trump immunity case. Now, Clarence Thomas, as you know, Democrat? No, not at all. Staunch Republican, right? Very clear, very kind of strong on the Constitution. Why do you think they want him to recuse himself? Because he's not going to vote in favor of them. So the Democrats don't have the majority at the Supreme Court. So if they could knock one of the justices off, they figure they can stand a better chance here. Because what they want to do is they want to get Trump off the ballot. That's the goal. They can't beat him at the ballot. They can't beat him in the election. They got to get rid of him. They got to make it so he can't run. They're throwing everything they possibly can. And this is the latest salvo. They're going after Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas. This is from the Washington Post in a new letter. 8 House Democrats, led by Representative Hank Johnson of Georgia, the top Democrat on the House Judiciary Committee's court subcommittee, are calling on Thomas to recuse himself in the case, citing the court's new code of conduct's guidance on impartiality. So now they're trying to say he's not impartial because he's pro-Trump. And the other ones are impartial? Interesting. Specifically, they raised concerns about Thomas's wife, Virginia, or Ginny Thomas, who repeatedly pressed the Trump White House and lawmakers to overturn Biden's 2020 victory, attended the Stop the Steal rally before the January 6th Capitol attack, and told the House committee investigating the stolen. So it's not Clarence Thomas, it's his wife, Ginny, that did these things. And because he's married to a pro-Trump supporter, he needs to recuse himself. The letter dated December 15th says Ginny Thomas's actions after the election raised serious questions about her husband's ability to be or even appear to be impartial in any cases before the Supreme Court involving the 2020 election and the January 6th insurrection, which it was not an insurrection. Stop using that word. If you want to show the American people the Supreme Court's recent code of conduct is worth more than paper it's written on, you must do the honorable thing and recuse yourself from any decisions in the case of United States versus Trump, the lawmakers are saying. Okay, a lot to unpack on this one, right? So they want to get him off because they feel that he can't be fair. I don't know. The Constitution seems black and white to me. I don't know. You've read it. You've seen it. You've seen it too. Yeah, I grew up in Canada, but I still read the Constitution, right? So it seems pretty black and white. Either there is presidential immunity, or there's not. How can you fall on the other side of this? What are you going to do? Change the Constitution or interpret it a different way? So this is, like you said, this is just another salvo. This is another attempt to try and beat this and try to make it so that Trump can't run again, right? So he can't win in these cases. He doesn't have presidential immunity. That means the January 6th and the classified documents cases can go forward. And if they go forward, they're going to interfere with what? Campaigning. If they interfere with his campaigning because he's spending time in court, they may or may not get a conviction, but at least they get the interference. This is what they're really looking for. They're looking for the interference. Let's interfere with him enough so that he can't run. He can't do what he would normally do because they know, and every day his numbers seem to go up, right? His polling numbers are going up. Highest in history in Iowa, I think, lead he has there now. And they're afraid of that. You can tell. Look at the clip we played at the opening. If you haven't seen it, go back and watch it. If you can stomach it. That's fear. They're really fearful of what's going on. So they're trying to make him out not to be just Hitler. That was easy. Now he's going to be the Fuhrer. Now he's going to be, right? It's just like it goes on and on and on. It's to the point where it's so far beyond the pale right now. We're in the zone of ridiculousness. And once you hit that zone, right? Like Rudy Giuliani said this weekend, it's like they sued him for $148 million. They fined him $148 million, and he laughed at it. And he says, this is crazy. This is so far beyond anything that you've ever seen in the legal system. And they didn't even allow him to testify. Couldn't take the stand. Couldn't say a word. Case was decided before he got there. This is the world we're playing in. So we don't stop. We don't acquiesce. We don't sit back. We keep pushing forward, right? We keep pushing forward. We keep getting the word out. We keep sharing the memes and we keep sharing the stories and we keep talking about it and we keep commenting on the posts and make sure that every time you comment and every time you hit the like or the love or whatever you hit, it's going to get more traction. And we need a lot of this traction. More and more people need to see this. They are waking up. So don't think you're not having impact. You're having an impact, my friends. You really, really, really are. All right. So the biggest story today, I teased it. I said, okay, what's the biggest story, guys? I put that in the chat room. Let's see if anybody responded to that question. I'll go to my chat room here. We don't live in a damn democracy. Yeah, that's exactly right. We don't live in a democracy anymore, right? Kind of that concept is out the window, it feels like right now. Well, this next set of stories is really the biggest news, I think. And there's a lot of stuff going on, right? So we got a list and things are going all different directions. And my job every day is to kind of sort through that and see which are the ones that are probably the most important. Now, December is a very slow month at our southern border. Normally the numbers are way down, families hanging out together over the holidays. They're not thinking about breaking into the country. They're not thinking about starting a new life. This December is very different. So this is Eagle Pass, Texas, and this is going to lead us down a path to a couple of stories I want to share back to back.
Take a live look at our Fox News drone over in Eagle Pass. They have had another mass illegal crossing out there. You can see hundreds upon hundreds of illegal immigrants waiting for processing there. You might be able to see a bridge off in the background. That is where the trains come in. Well, CBP has announced they are suspending railway operations to move CBP officers down into the field to help Border Patrol with processing. In other words, Harris, they're shutting down international commerce in order to help speed up processing of these migrants. Many of them, again, will be released. And back out here live, December is traditionally one of the slowest months at our southern border, but the Border Patrol Union tells us right now their numbers show they are on track to potentially have the highest single month of arrests they have ever had at our southern border.
So did you hear what he said in there? There was something really interesting. He says they're going to shut down international commerce. They're stopping the rail lines. Because they need those Border Patrol agents to process, not arrest, not stop, not return, to process the people coming across the border. So let's interfere with commerce at the height of, the retail season, where there's probably stuff on those trains that stores need desperately. We're going to shut down the railway, so no trains can come up from Mexico in the United States because they have to go through Border Patrol and they got to check all their records and blah, blah, blah. And instead, let's take those agents and put them down here so they can deal with the influx of people coming across the border. And this is Eagle Pass again, but this is a different reporter. This one I liked. He turns his head away from the microphone a little bit, so sometimes the audio is going to dip, but I think you should be able to hear it. But you can see the mass of people. So that's Eagle Pass, Texas again. The 2,000 people plus this morning that came up, and they just arrived there, and the reporters are there, and there's some drone footage of that from above, and you just see this mass of people in these lines. They're just keeping coming. They're not stopping. It's almost as if, and you guys can do the research on this and let me know what you find. It's almost as if it is intentionally accelerated this time of year. Why do you think that is? Why would they accelerate it right now? Where's most people's attention? Is it on the news or is it somewhere else? I think a lot of people are Christmas shopping, right? They're getting ready for Christmas. They're maybe going to travel. They're going to do, all kinds of different things with family and friends and Christmas parties and all the rest of that stuff. You're not focused here. So now we've got this massive wave of people coming up through the border. I think it's no coincidence. I think it really is, it's planned. They probably hold them and then bring them all through at one time. You could tell when you look at the video, these are not migrants walking thousands of miles like we're being told. Their sneakers are pure white. No scuffs on them, no marks. They're not tired. They're well dressed. They've all got knapsacks and nice clothing for the cool weather. They're not struggling. This is the story they're trying to give us, but that's not what I'm seeing when I look at that. So where are they getting them from? They're getting them from South America and other countries, and they are bringing them up on buses. I saw that Carol posted in Costa Rica there was a bunch of buses that had come up as well. And we're seeing that, and they're bringing them up now in the biggest number. This is going to be a record month, December, of people coming across the border. And remember, they get the debit card, they get the phone, and they get a court date that there's no way to follow up on because we don't know where they are once they're in. So that was Texas, but here's Lukeville. So if you remember in Lukeville, Arizona, we talked about it a few weeks back. There's not much in the way of protection there as far as fences and border patrol and all the rest of it. It's pretty much wide open, right? You can see they're just walking in and they're not afraid. They're calm. They're, just coming in. It's just like people going to a bus station, right? No big deal. So we're seeing a lot of that in Arizona. Now, this story is a little bit of a mind bender. I haven't figured it out. I can't wait to talk to Lewis about this one to see what his opinion is on it, because it's kind of interesting. In one of those ways you go, what in the world's going on here? This doesn't make any sense. You know who the fake governor is in Arizona? This is a quiz. Katie Hobbs, right? Katie Hobbs is the fake governor. Should be Kari Lake. It's not. It's Katie Hobbs. She's the acting governor. What do we know about her? She is in bed with what? With who? Cartels. She did nothing. Nothing. To stop the illegals from coming up, stop the drugs. Did nothing. All of a sudden, this story pops up Friday afternoon when everyone's gone and they're not paying attention anymore. This story pops up. Okay, you gotta help me and figure this one out, because this is interesting. So Katie Hobbs is sending the state's National Guard to the border to help with the migrant influx. Excuse me? This is the woman who did nothing about it. This is the woman who said repeatedly, there is no problem, there is no problem. And all of a sudden, now Arizona's fake governor on Friday ordered the state's National Guard to the border with Mexico to help federal officials manage the influx of migrants. So when I'm reading this, I'm reading manage the influx of migrants may just be process them. Make sure they have their phones and their debit cards and make sure their debit cards are filled. Said she issued the executive order because the federal government is refusing to do its job to secure our border and keep our communities safe. She says, I'm taking action where the federal government won't. It's unclear when the troops would arrive at the border and exactly how many would be mobilized. Hobbs asked President Joe Biden administration a week ago to mobilize 243 Arizona National Guard troops already in the Border Patrol's Tucson sector. That includes Lukeville, Arizona, to help federal officers reopen the border crossing that was indefinitely closed on December 4th. So as confusing as this story is, what I think's going on here, this is just an opinion, what I think's going on here is the 243 Arizona National Guard troops not going to make any difference. Not going to make any difference whatsoever. You have just this morning 2,000 in Eagle Pass, Texas, and more. They keep coming, right? So that was this morning's number, probably bigger by now. Do we really care if she sends 240 National Guard troops? What's going to happen? Well, she wants to open up the border here. This is crazy. She wants federal officers to reopen the border crossing in Lukeville, Arizona, but the border's already open. We just saw the video. We see the people coming up. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Not sure what's going on. Not sure at all. I have somebody in the back room. Hey.
Hey, yourself.
I hear you.
You hear me all right?
Yeah.
Good. Well, that's an interesting story you said. I just happen to be in Arizona right now. I just happened to see a video just this morning for breakfast that showed what could possibly be going on with the National Guard. The Border Patrol is managing all right. They're managing the people that go down to expose the cartel. They're intimidating them. They're trying to shoo them away. When they go near a cartel camp, guess what? The Border Patrol are all right there.
Yep. Pushing him away.
Making sure we don't tear down their tents, making sure we don't disrupt their water that's for them, right? And we have to understand that the way this works is the coyotes are given a, let's call it a jug. And that jug is filled with what? That jug is filled with water, fentanyl, crystal meth, some other nice, wonderful things. That drug, believe it or not, is not for the people crossing the border. It's for the coyotes, so they can run full speed 40 to 50 miles. So they hype them up on this miracle water, and the coyotes are running full speed, 40 to 50 miles, like a marathon.
Wow. With
full fatigues on and everything. It's amazing. So let me add to that. Imagine if there was a law in the United States that was passed that would give an ID to everybody. Imagine the law was written in 2022. Everybody that crossed the border. Imagine if they were tracked by cell phones or debit cards. Imagine if there was a new law that was going through where all the military needed to do is get a citizenship. Well, imagine if the 2022 law said any illegal with an ID will become an instant citizen. that means they completely take over our military. If you do not think that they will do everything, they have no allegiance to the United States. They have no allegiance to we the people. If their bosses, which would be the military,
non-citizen, a non-American would.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's the direction the deep state is taking this right now.
Yeah.
So it's extraordinarily important that we pay attention. I'm not saying they're going to win, but I'm saying we need to pay attention. And we're going to have breaking stories, I have a feeling, coming up in the next couple of days right here on this channel in a deeper dive into this issue. But here's what I'm learning. Those that call themselves awake are still asleep. And I'm at this convention, this Amfest convention. A lot of people are disenchanted, I'd say, because they believe they see a lot of controlled opposition. A lot of people are disenchanted because the message, because they avoid the. I'm live. What, this dude said it?
Only allowed staff.
Okay. They only allow staph infections over here. Okay. Thank you. So anyways, there I am sneaking into places I'm not supposed to be.
Hey, that's okay.
So,
we all do that.
So what happens is how about one person, one vote, right?
Right.
The reality is we have to be on paper ballots. And a lot of people here are suggesting a 28-day voting. No, you've won 1 day, one vote.
Yeah.
Right?
No.
It's ridiculous. Wow. And of course, they're all in on the Israel narrative because they're not even willing to understand that if you have the most powerful per capita, Israel has the most powerful military by far. Per capita means based on their size. Percentage-wise, they have the most powerful military. They have the most powerful air defense system, bar none, and one, if not the most powerful intelligence agency in the world. So you have those three things. You had hundreds of Hamas can just fly over the border in paragliders and run through the border and do damage, right? It's J6. They opened the door for them.
They did, yeah.
So my question to a lot of these people, and I'm getting in a lot of interesting conversations in regards to that, and it's actually working and opening eyes. Now, let me talk about the good news, and this is where I'm warm. So I've met a lot of people they would call famous in the Patriot movement. I'll be honest, some of them are embracing us and what we do, and remember your oath of screw Big Gov, and it's really great, making some great connections. With some connections, that's wonderful. There's also people that they see me, and it's really interesting. They almost physically recoil, and I find that to be very interesting. Don't know. Are we too controversial, Robert?
I don't think we are.
It's we're just telling the truth. We're asking for authenticity. Well, why? You have nothing to worry about. I had a spirited conversation with somebody yesterday, and turned out it was being filmed. So I'm sure that's going to get posted around here. But it's very, very interesting what's going on here. But here's where I'm really hard. I'm just walking around, and I'm only staying in the media area. So I'm not even, there's 12,000 people upstairs. I'm barely up there, and up there it's dark anyways because it's part of their whole presentation here. And just in the media area, I can tell you over 10 people have already come up to me, and this is what matters to me. They've come up and they said, you know what? Because of you and your show and Robert, so on and so forth, we are now active in our community. We are taking it to the board. These are people I don't know, by the way.
Wow.
Don't know. And they're saying we're going into the board of supervisors. We're part of our LD district. We're now part of the GOP and trying to transform that. We're now working on this in the election, and they're active. Over 10 people just in the last day and a half.
Wow.
That I don't even know. That's what makes a difference. Not whose handshake I meet or whose butt gets kissed. right? What makes a difference is we, the people. So we're doing a good job. We, the people, are taking our country back. And we have to understand this is what matters. I don't give a damn what cowboy hat somebody wears, or what beautiful dress they wear, or how amazing their podcast is. With all the technology in the world, you wouldn't believe the technology here, by the way. You would be in heaven. With all the technology in the world, what matters is, what are you really doing, right? Are you saying we the people, it's time to stand up, and are you trying to give them direction to help them do that? If you're not, I'm really not having time for you. And I have a feeling that this is why some of these podcasters or people, when they see me, they're like, oh, recoil. Like I was talking to a person, how do I say, I won't say this person was a handler for one, but I was talking to one, and the person was really engaged in what I was saying. And then the person that they were handling came by, and then they shook somebody's hand, and they saw me, and they're like, gotta go. Literally ran away. And everybody, and it's like, what?
Wow, we're winning.
Yeah, I'm like, cool. Controlled opposition recognizes us. I like that.
Yeah.
And then somebody that I was just explaining it to it, she says there's something, and I believe it's biblical. I'm sorry if I'm not quoting scripture, but it says something to the effect that evil always recognizes, or dark always recognizes light, but light doesn't always recognize the dark. Right? So I'm like, cool, I'll take that. I don't know. Am I light? I don't know, but I'll take it. Thank you very much. But the point is, we are making a huge difference, right? And we just need to keep at it. That's why we don't care. We're not worried about our numbers on this channel or whatever. We're worried about making a difference. And we're doing something special in the next few days. Hopefully that will make a difference. And we're making some connections. Because, guys, if you can't put everything on the line right now, do you really deserve to reap the rewards of what will come when we're past this? I don't know, you just ask yourself, and I know people don't like me holding them accountable like that, but that's what we're doing.
Got to be part of the solution and then not part of the problem. And part of the problem is heads in the sand, and we have too much of that. And Lewis, I've been noticing, I've been watching some of the clips from Amfest, and some of the feeling is that people are pulling away from calling themselves Republican because there's too many rhinos there, and they're actually using the term that you use, conservative. Are you seeing a little bit of that?
A little bit. And what I'm seeing, what I liked is, I don't want to stir too much shit, but Roseanne got on stage and she pretty much rebuked what another speaker said about the Republicans. She's like, no, it's a uniparty. Well, what have we been saying here? That's what you're dealing with. You're dealing with the uniparty. It's a globalist party. That's what they are. Until you recognize it, you're part of the problem, like you say, not part of the solution.
Right. Yeah, I was looking for more clips from there. They're not releasing a whole lot of clips. They're just these little snippets, these 1 minute snippets I'm seeing. But give me a feel for what it's like. You're not talking much in the audience because you're staying in the press room more.
Yeah, I'm in press room. In fact, right now I'll show you. Behind me, you'll see right there. You may recognize that's David Clement and Mike Lindell, and I talked to both of them this weekend.
Yeah, David's got a new film out. It came out Friday.
Yeah, I did. He's promoting it. He grabbed me when I was entering the thing, and we were talking, and then next thing you knew, we got separated, but we'll probably talk later. Anyways, yeah, and a lot of people are doing good work, and some appear that they're doing good work, and I might say, yep, they're probably not. But we're staying true to what we're supposed to do here. And that's probably why I ended up having, I'll just say, a spirited conversation with the most famous sheriff in the United States. That's what I'll say.
Yep.
And I found out, I guess, I looked down and I'm like, oh, shit, they're recording this. So she sent it to me. I sent it to you. I don't know if we'll post it or not. I know me saying that's the worst thing. Now I know everybody's going to say, post it.
I didn't get it downloaded in time. It's a really massive file, but yeah, if you want it posted, it'll be on tomorrow's show.
Yeah, so we'll figure it out. And my goal is not to call anybody out like that. My goal, and that's not what I was doing. I was holding him accountable. I'm done with the Lindsey Graham bullshit.
Oh gosh, yeah.
The big huge bluster, and then do nothing. But it's done with it. Done. It's Greg Abbott does the same thing. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's all it's a BS. You need to stand up, and you need to make a difference. Now, I'm not going to say in their defense, but I'll say I do understand one of the challenges that they're having is anybody that tries, man, they're coming after them. And I mean, they're coming after them. They're trying to ruin their lives. So it's tough. So I even said to I'll just tell you who it is. It was Sheriff Mack. And I believe I said this to him on tape. I don't know how long they were recording. I haven't looked at the recording. But I did say to him, some point in the conversation is, when does the legacy of what you did become more important than your financial legacy for your family? Because yes, your family will be thankful that you cowered and and gave them financial legacy, but that's one generation, right? That's it. They're not going to remember that. They're going to be, oh, thanks, bud. Thank you for taking care of us. But you know what? If you're a hero and risk it all, guess what? They're going to talk about grandpa, great-grandpa, great-great-grandpa for generations to come. Your name will go down in history. That's the legacy I'm trying to urge these people to choose.
Hard sell for them, though.
Yeah. Well, and they squirm when I mention it.
Yeah, of course.
But, it is what it is. Are you done with the bullshit, Robert?
I'm so done with it. Yeah.
Yeah. If anybody in chat, which I can't see right now, let us know if you're done with the bullshit. Let us know if you just want the truth, if you want to take your countries, plural, back, and you expect that anybody that's representing you needs to represent you. And if they're too, I won't even say that. If they're too afraid because legitimately they're being attacked, I get it. Then step aside and let somebody else take that spot. Don't be there just for your ego. We're done with it. We are done with it. And what I'm seeing is we have an organization through Screw Big Gov right now, and Remember Your Oath, that seems to be on the same page. And they are holding people accountable all through this place. They keep telling me the stories. I'm very excited about that.
We got to bring some of them on and interview them.
Yep.
And hear their stories and what they did and who they spoke to and that kind of thing. Yeah.
So now I'm getting text messages. I'm supposed to go watch Tucker Carlson, maybe former Controlled Op. I don't know. We're going to find out here. But we're going to go take care and watch that real quick.
Okay.
And I haven't watched too many speakers. That's not why I'm here.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate the update, Lewis. Really, really good stuff.
Okay. Hope to get signal for what I'm doing tomorrow.
Okay. You let me know. You keep me posted.
All right.
Thanks, Lewis.
I love everybody watching. Thank you for your hard work too out there. Bye-bye.
Whew. That's what we call someone stepping up and jumping into the fire here. It's awesome to see. Certainly, it's not something that everyone is doing, but more and more of us, it seems, are stepping up. And, holding the podcasters, I really like that a lot, too. Holding the podcasters' feet to the fire a little bit because, yes, it's great to have a show. And we understand the pressures and we understand the promotions and we understand the advertisers have a little bit of sway over what the podcaster says and doesn't say. But maybe we need to be done with that. Maybe we need to move beyond it and just say it doesn't matter. One of the reasons we don't have a sponsor here and we don't have advertisers, paid advertisers, is because of that. Because they end up controlling the editorial. Oh, we can't have you saying things like that and be associated with you. So if you continue to speak like that, we're going to pull back our sponsorship. No more money for you. You don't think it happens? It happens all the time. Del Bigtree is a great example of that. He had Big Pharma sponsoring him. And then he started to speak out against what was going on with Big Pharma. And what do you think happened? They pulled the sponsorship money. So he left and he started his own network. We all need to do that. We all need to walk away from these sponsors who don't support the message or support this country. Not easy to do when your financial well-being is attached to that sponsor. We all have to find a way. So we decided early on we're not going to go in that direction unless there's a sponsor that steps them a gun. Now they're citizens. They serve for 2 years, whatever it is. They get paid even better. It's coming. We're headed in that direction. However, I have it on good authority. We're not going to get there. There's a lot of stuff in the back channel news, which I don't necessarily report because it is sort of conspiracy even at this level. So I don't talk about it much. But what we're hearing is all of this is going to come to a grinding halt pretty soon. We've been hearing that for a while. But there's more and more proof now that it's starting to happen. Other countries, and the USA and Israel, probably be the last on the list. But we're darn close to the last on the list. There's very few countries left where this needs to be cleaned up. So we'll see, right? I always take a wait-and-see attitude. When I see the arrests happening, when I see things, then I'll go, yeah, it's happening. Okay, this is good. This is good. I want more of this. Really want more of this. NutraSwish. See, this is our sponsor. You buy NutraSwish, or you buy the Neumi Skin, which I know a lot of you are using. Thank you. It's really, really fun product. Great product for your skin. Or you buy the Neumi Hers for the ladies to help with menstrual issues and cramping and menopausal symptoms. When you buy these products from our links, you're actually supporting the show. So Neumi loves us, by the way. They know what we do. They watch the show. They love the show, and they love what we do and put out there. So let me talk about NutraSwish a little bit because I think it's an important topic, especially this time of year when we're being hit with a lot of oxidative stress, right? The stress of, oh my God, what does Sally want? What's on my list? I don't know what to buy my wife, right? And you got all this stress. You've got Christmas parties. You're eating not as good as you normally eat. Well, NutraSwish is glutathione in a nanoparticle size. And the glutathione is really important. It's the fuel for your liver to help you deal with oxidative stress, help you detox, help you with increased energy, help you get better sleep, helps with a lot of things, especially recovery after physical exertion. So I use it 3 times a day, morning, noon, night, as long as I'm here in my office. It's right on my desk. Why is it on the desk? So I remember to use it. Take a little bit, swish it around your mouth for a minute or two, excuse me, and you swallow the rest. And that's it. You're done. And you get the experience of, you'll see right away if your sleep is a little bit better. Excuse me. And I think you'll find once you start using it, you're going to like the impact, like the effects of it, and including, your hair is going to get a little darker. Mine not as darker than it was, but it hasn't gotten as dark as Lewis's. And Bruce Poppy is regrowing hair. He's mostly bald on top. He's actually regrowing a lot of hair. So it has a lot of side benefits as well. And it doesn't interfere with any prescription drugs, anything you're taking. This is a nutrient. This is not a drug. This is a nutrient. They don't do drugs of any kind, not even aspirin. So trust me, this is a good product. You want to get your hands on it, find out more about it, you can go to renegademedia.tv/energy, renegademedia.tv/energy. Okay, taking a quick sip of water here. I don't know why I push my voice sometimes, and I need something to make my voice a little bit more resilient to being pushed, because I do push it quite a bit. I don't know why I'm screaming into the mic all the time, but I'm a little passionate about what I do. I love this stuff. All right. Here's an interesting I think it's a meme, but it's kind of interesting. It came up. So there's 1.4 million active military. I actually heard the number is 1.3 million is the number I heard this morning. And approximately 16.8 million illegal aliens of military fighting age. Tells you a story, doesn't it? Hope it's not telling me the story they're trying to tell me. All right. Michigan Court of Appeals rules that our guy, President Trump, can stay on the 2024 primary ballot. Guy's a win. Okay, not a huge win, but a win just the same. Can you imagine if he was kicked off the primary ballot at Michigan? The Michigan Appeals Court ruled in favor of allowing former President Donald J. Trump to remain on the 2024 presidential primary ballot. The ruling follows legal challenges brought forth by plaintiffs who question Trump's eligibility under the insurrection clause of the 14th Amendment, which is a clause, by the way, that was put in there after the Civil War. Reaching back a little bit, huh? Aren't they reaching back? The 14th Amendment arguments of plaintiffs present a political question that is non-justiciable. Justiciable? I guess that's the way you pronounce that. At the present time, Judge James Robert Redford noted in his ruling. I didn't know Robert Redford was a judge. This is James Robert Redford. The ultimate decision is made by the respective political party with the consent of the listed candidate, the judge said. Nothing to do with the court. Nothing at all to do with the court. Why did you even bring this up? Is kind of the way I read that. So, he won another one. You're not going to see this in mainstream media. This is on Gateway Pundit. You're not going to see it in mainstream media. It's just not there. It's not where they're going to talk about this stuff because it's a good thing for Trump. It's in the plus column. They don't cover that on mainstream media. They only cover the things that are bad. All right. So the EU, European Union, they don't like Elon Musk anymore. They don't like the fact that he took over Twitter, now called X, and he's allowing free speech on there. Ooh, that's a massive no-no. We don't allow free speech. That's not good. So they want to now fine him. This is kind of interesting to watch this one. European Commissioner Thierry Breton announced an investigation into Elon Musk's free speech social media platform X for failure to combat illicit content and disinformation. This show is disinformation, according to these guys. This is the first major probe the EU has opened up on X since last year's passing of a new law called the Digital Services Act. Today, we open formal infringement proceedings against X under the Digital Services Act, European Commissioner Breton wrote in a post on Monday morning. The investigation centered on whether X failed to stop the spread of illegal content. That would mean the truth. In other words, non-approved government narratives, exactly right, and whether the community notes feature is enough to combat information manipulation. Okay. Should we unpack this one too, or you kind of get the idea here, right? So Elon Musk takes over Twitter. Twitter, which was vehemently censoring our side, our voices, kicking you off the platform. Didn't matter how many years you spent to build up your following, what kind of following you had. They kicked the President of the United States off of Twitter. That's how gutsy they thought they were. They were unstoppable. So Musk comes in and buys it, and he said, I didn't buy it to make money with it. I bought it to protect free speech. His words. Now you have free speech, and the EU is coming after him and saying, oh, we don't like free speech. Too much truth there. So we're going after you now. And I think they're going to try to fine him for like 8% of the revenues or some astronomical number. So he may just pull out of the EU. If you're coming in from the EU, you might not be able to access it anymore. It's sad. The internet was supposed to be this great unifier and was supposed to be a tool that would go across all borders and boundaries, and information would be free-flowing. Remember Google, their initial desire in 1996 was, let's index everything on the internet so that when people are searching for something, they can find it. And then they started censoring because they got too big, too much power. So the CIA got involved, government got involved and told them they need to censor this and censor that. Google's no longer trustworthy. So now you look in the EU and now they're going after X. They're going after Twitter. Okay. Guys, we're winning, right? If we didn't have that tool of Twitter, so much information would still be buried, still be covered up. We wouldn't be able to see. We can see it now. We have this tool we can use. I don't know. I never liked Twitter before. I had 20,000, 21,000 people following me on Twitter, and I hardly ever used it after I built up the following because everything you'd post there would be against their community guidelines. Whatever that community is, I don't want to be part of it. You know what I mean? So I didn't use it. And then when Elon bought it, I kind of snuck back in a little bit and tried a little of this and tried a little of that. And the first thing I did was stream one of our truth-a-thons on there. 14 hours and 28 minutes worth. No problems. And I thought, maybe I should start paying attention. So if you're not on it, it's a great tool. So we have Instagram, Telegram, I should say, not Instagram, Telegram, and we have X. And those two right now are the leaders as far as sharing the information goes. Of course, I post a lot more in Telegram than anywhere. Telegram is still my primary. But I just repost a lot of stuff that I find on X. Some of it I use here, some of it I don't, but I put it out there. And you can see, there's a lot more good stuff out there. In fact, the news there is faster and oftentimes more accurate than what you find after it's edited and published and all the rest of that, hours or maybe a day later. So sometimes we're a day ahead of the news. It's kind of funny in this show, we kind of cover stories, and then tomorrow you'll see them on Gateway Pundit or you see them on other websites. It's like, oh yeah, we covered that yesterday. That's old news now for us. All right. Apple has a little nightmare on its hands. I don't know if you've heard. This is kind of interesting. Two California corporations battling each other. After taking a late Friday punch in the face from China, which reportedly announced a more widespread ban on iPhones across government and local state employees, Tim Cook and his pal in Palo Alto just got hit again. Apple today said it will be pausing sales of the Apple Watch Series 9 and Apple Watch Ultra 2 in the U.S. later this week due to an ongoing patent dispute with medical tech company Masimo, related to the blood oxygen sensing. It's important to have this tool if you've got issues with the blood oxygen, your lungs are failing, that kind of thing. So this is an important tool to have. The announcement means the only available Apple Watch in the U.S. will be the company's budget SE model. The ruling comes amid a legal dispute over the technology Apple's smartwatches use to run their blood oxygen feature. Industry experts told Daily Mail it could result in $200 million in lost revenue during its most lucrative time of the year. The landmark ban, which was issued by the International Trade Commission, the ITC, which is responsible for clamping down on unfair trade practices, the ITC, in its ruling in October, finding that the devices infringed on two patents owned by biotech company Masimo, based in California. What do you think about that? You care? $200 million to Apple, they make that every hour. Come on, it's not a big deal, right? But the patent disputes are kind of interesting. It's always this back and forth kind of stuff. They've got the technology that somebody else developed, and maybe they're licensing it, or maybe they're using it incorrectly, or maybe who knows? We don't. It gets very technical at that level. But to ban them from being able to sell the product is interesting. That's kind of a first. I have not heard that here in the United States, although I have heard it in other countries. It has come up with other products as well. So this is interesting. I'm going to keep an eye on this. I love the technology. When it works for us, when it works against us, I'm not so much a fan, but we'll see. It's kind of interesting to see where it goes. Okay, Costco. Woohoo! Costco's in the news. Hey guys, that could be any Costco, right? Every Costco looks exactly the same. It could be any one of them. It's so funny. So the CEO of Costco is saying we've sold over $100 million in gold during this last quarter alone. $100 million in gold. You probably read about the fact that we're selling 1 ounce gold bars. We sold over 100 million of gold during the quarter, ended September 30th. Richard Galante, the chief financial officer of Costco, said during an earnings call on December 14th, we load the gold bars on the website. They're typically gone within a few hours. As soon as they get them in, they put them on the website, boom, they're gone. The gold bars were listed for sale at $2,069.99 on Friday. According to CNBC, at that time, it was nearly $50 higher than the spot price of gold, which was $2,020.58. Both items are shipped via UPS and delivered within around 2 to 5 days to customers across the United States. Now, if you bought a gold bar, you can't return it for a refund. Gold is yours. You can't bring it back. Give it to your kids. I don't know. Melt it down, make a ring. I don't know what you can do. What do you do with a gold bar if you can't sell it back to them? I guess you got to find another place to sell it. And you're never going to get the full price you paid for it Unless gold value goes way up, which is, some people are expecting it will. I don't know. I'm on the fence on this one. I don't really know if that's what we're going to expect, but kind of interesting that people are into the gold. They really like their gold. Okay, here's a mistake. I think it's a mistake. You tell me what you think. This is happening in Florida. Florida plans a new road that will charge electric vehicles while you drive. And of course, the electric vehicles we have right now don't have this feature, but the feature is going to be very similar to the phones that we have that we just drop on the charger. You don't have to physically plug them in. You drop them on the charger and they charge. So they're thinking about putting these things into the highway, and as you drive your electric car, you'll be able to charge it. Question I have is, who's going to pay for that? Electric vehicle owners have been notified of new road plans that promise to act as charging stations as cars drive on them. In Florida, between Lake and Orange counties, EV enthusiasts, electric vehicle enthusiasts, are excited about what has been dubbed a tremendous evolution. County Commissioner Sean Parks explained that the State Road 516 will seemingly be the first roadway in the world that charges EVs as they drive on it through coils under the pavement. We will have the roadway, which will be equipped with these coils that can charge electric vehicles as they travel on them. So think about your smartphone. You put on a charging pad. It's very similar technology to that, only on a grander scale. All right, so here we go, continuing in the wrong direction with electric cars. We know electric cars are not the answer. So now we're going to make the highways. We're going to put all these charging pads in the highways. And we've got to feed that constantly, because if there's constantly cars traveling on it, there's got to be electric flowing all the time to be able to charge these cars. Interesting idea. I wonder how many miles you'd have to drive to get a full charge. And could you keep driving? And could it charge fast enough that you wouldn't deplete the battery faster than it could recharge? I got questions. Okay, I got questions. I get it. You got questions too. We all have questions. Fun. All right. Let me give you here. Let's see if I can find it real quick. Just scrolling through. I got so many little things. Okay. What I want to show you here is my email address, and follow us on Telegram, Renegade Media, t.me/Renegade Media, or email me, robert@renegademedia.tv. We will be back tomorrow, same time, same channel, and Lewis will be joining us if he has cell signal. He's going to be in a strange area where we're not quite sure what the signal is going to be, but if he can make it, he will definitely be on the show. I look forward to that. It'll be a lot of fun to have him back here. And thank you, all of you, for your support with Neumi. Thank you for supporting RememberYourOath.com, ScrewBigGov.com, RenegadeMedia.tv. Thank you for being part of this family. We so appreciate you. You guys are just amazing. And I look forward to being here every day, sharing with you the crazy world that we live in. Have a great evening, everyone. Love you all. See y'all tomorrow.